Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Hall County Sports Television. I'm your host, Garry Glenn. The summertime sports are well underway now, and we bring to the show now a couple of folks that have been banding together to form a team with the goal of helping and supporting one another in endurance sports. It's a whole team. Now, this is particularly with regards to triathlons. Mansfield Oil has teamed with Greyhound to lend help to these athletes. And recently, Aaron Leach off the team won the Beast of the East triathlon up in North Carolina. The team manager and advisor is Jack Haire. We've had on this show before in various capacities, but he also helps out with the Brenau swim program. And we bring to the show now both Jack Haire and Aaron Leach. Gentlemen, thank you for coming by.
Thank you, Garry.
Tell me, first of all, Jack, I'm going to turn to you. What was the impetus of getting all of this started up?
Well, it really started, I was working with Mike Mansfield from Mansfield Oil on his swimming. And many people who try and get into triathlons, swimming is often their weakest event.
I did one time, and that was the toughest part for me.
And that's where I typically can help people whose goal it is to do their first triathlon or to improve their triathlon is swimming. So I was working with Mike on swimming, and this idea came up for him as a way to motivate his employees. And then he had a program with Greyhound. They felt the same way. So the two got together and funded the endurance team. So the team currently consists of one community member, Aaron, and employees from Mansfield and from Greyhound. Mm-hmm. And they're runners, they're bikers, and primarily triathletes.
Wow, okay. Now, Aaron, before we turn the camera on, you said that in high school, by the way, where'd you go to high school? Around here anywhere?
No, sir. Upstate New York.
Okay.
High school.
So you're a transplant then.
Yes, sir.
Glad to have you down here as long as you don't tell us how terrible we are down south. But I'm sure that you don't do that. Most people when they move down here, they say, "Yeah, why did I ever live anywhere else?"
That's right.
But you said you didn't do anything in high school. Was not a high school athlete at all. So what was the impetus for you getting involved in this?
I think I've always had a very successful professional life. So I've always worked very, very hard, and probably for the same reasons Mike Mansfield got into it, I needed to find something as an outlet. Work became a little bit over-empowering, put on some weight, kind of gets away from you a lot quicker than you realize. I'm still fairly young at 37 years old, but I was consumed by work and was about 50 pounds heavier than I am now, so I need an outlet. And started running, and running turned into biking, and then swimming and triathlon. It was just a natural progression. And now that's really helped me find that work-life balance. It helps relieve stress. I'm more effective at work, outside of work, and starting now to become increasingly more competitive in triathlon as well.
No, I saw that you're the Beast of the East. Now that's a pretty big race. Is that your biggest win to date?
That is. So I've only been doing this about 3 years. So like Jack said, swimming's basically my weakness. I can compete at the longer events, but the shorter events where the swim's a little bit more of a weighted average percentage, I struggle. But we're working on my swim stroke pretty religiously right now.
Jack, let's talk about swimming. I guess you train a lot in the pool, but many times in triathlons you're swimming into the lake, a pond, or the ocean.
Yes.
That's a different animal, isn't it?
It is.
How do you prep for that?
We do open water swims throughout the summer. We actually start as soon as the water gets somewhere in the 70s, high 60s. We train a lot on Lake Lanier. And open water swimming, your stroke is a little bit different. It's more of a fight to get through that water. It's very different than the smooth, rhythmic stroke that you would find in the pool. But open water swimming is the only way to get faster at open water. So you got to practice it.
To do a thing, you got to do that thing, right,
Exactly.
gentlemen? I mean, you really do. I found that. I did a couple of those little mini triathlons over at Gainesville College, and I'd not swum for a long time. I thought, well, I can do that, man. I'm telling you what, after about 50 yards, you're going, this is a lot tougher than I remember it. Is that the toughest thing, Aaron, is the swim for
Absolutely, especially when you get into what we try to simulate in open water as well. The more people you can have in a group. Toughest thing is a mass start in open water. If you're swimming with 2,000 people all starting
people
at the
kicking
same
you in
time.
the face. Yeah. I remember that.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, where do you hope to go with this, gentlemen? First of all, as a team, Jack, and then I think you've got a big meet coming up.
Well, as a team, this is our first year, so we would like to expand it, bring in some more high-caliber athletes, some younger athletes, some of the local athletes that are here. As you know, we have great running programs.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
to all the high
Especially
schools.
distance running in Hall County now is really going up.
Absolutely. And some of these people, if they don't run in college or even after they get out of college, and that's how I got into triathlons. I swam in college, then started running a little bit. Triathlon was a natural thing for me to move to. And I think these, elite runners will be looking for something. They're so competitive. They have to have something. Keep those endorphins. They want to stay physically fit. So we would like to, capture some of these guys, bring them onto the team, let them experience triathlon. So we hope to grow the community side of it as well as continue to work with the employees within Mansfield and Greyhound Bus.
Aaron, July is a big month for you, right?
That's right.
What you got coming up?
I have Ironman Lake Placid on July 22nd, so that's a fairly long race for anybody not familiar with the distances. It's 2.4 mile swim,
Wow.
112 mile bike, and then a full marathon at the end. So Jack and I are just about at the tail end of my building and training phase for that. I'll probably have one more long weekend of training, and then I'll start to rest going into the race. And then after that, a little bit of rest time, and then I'll start working on some shorter distance
Would that be
races.
the longest thing that you've done?
Yeah, that's my longest race.
Okay. Now you got some hopes for going to the Ironman someday in Hawaii?
I do. It's we've been training hard. Whether or not it's in the cards this time, we'll see. It's on a race of that distance. It's sometimes about having a good day, having your day out there, and you got to respect the distance of something being that long. It's you never know what can go wrong. You just got to try to dial in nutrition. You got to try to dial in a lot of other things, weather conditions. It's a long day. It's just shy of 10 hours. It'll take me to finish that. I hope so. It's just trying to hope and have faith that you can make it through in the time that you want to with that.
The Ironman Hawaii is a qualifying thing. Right? You got to have a standard set for
That's
that.
I got to be top 5 at my race in July to qualify for that.
All right. One last question. What would you, people that are watching this out there, what advice would you give them if they want to start just a fitness program? You said you were 50 pounds overweight than what you are now. So how did you get started? What advice would you give the audience out there?
My advice is don't put too high of expectations on yourself. It's be demanding. My approach is I never missed a workout. I didn't always have to do the hardest workout or the toughest workout, but I made the commitment to do it. So if you make a commitment to yourself and to a program, live by the commitment and also realize that it doesn't happen overnight. So be fair to yourself, manage expectations, realistic expectations, and realize the reasons you're doing it for. So try to get into it for the right reasons. Try to know that you want to be healthier, you want to be happier. It helps, believe it or not, it helps me much more mentally than it does physically.
All right. Guys, thanks for coming in. Jack,
Thank
always
you.
a pleasure to
Good
see
to see you again,
and
Gary.
Aaron, good to meet you, and good luck
Thank you,
up at
sir.
Lake Placid.
I do appreciate
and keep
it.
in touch. And if you guys ever want to start a powerlifting division of this team, let me know. I
Sure
know
will.
a guy that'll talk to you about that. All right. Thank you very much. We got baseball for you when we get back.
There are moments in life that you wish would last forever. Dreams that really do come true. Treasures worth protecting. And a future to prepare for. Turner Wood & Smith is with you every step of the way. Established in the Gainesville area in 1905. Turner Wood & Smith has become Northeast Georgia's largest independent insurance agency by offering professional service at competitive prices. Turner Wood & Smith, insuring your future since 1905.
Garry Glenn back with Pastor Rob Bruce of McKever Road United Methodist Church. And Rob, thanks once again for helping us support local athletes.
Well, it's our pleasure to support the athletes of Hall County, both young and old.
Tell me about the mission statement that was recently come up with for the McKever Road United Methodist Church.
Our mission statement, actually it's our vision statement. Our mission is to make disciples for of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. But how we go about that is what our vision statement is, and that's loving Christ, loving people, and helping people to love Christ. That sums up what we do at McKever Road United Methodist.
All right. Well, even though it's summertime, still got plenty of things going on here at the church.
Yeah, we've got a series on James that'll be coming up at the end of the month, 3 weeks. We've got a mission trip to Mississippi. A lot of people don't realize there's still a lot of victims of Katrina that don't have places to live. They're still in trailers. So we'll be going down there for a week to build a house, actually, for a family there.
All right, Rob. We'll see you in church on Sunday.
Okay, great, Gary. Thank you.
We're back. I'm Garry Glenn, and this is Hall County Sports. Tiger baseball is something kind of new for a local athlete. It is the brainchild of former Clemson All-American and two-time ACC Player of the Year, Shane Monahan. Went on to play some professional baseball, including a stint in the major leagues with the Seattle Mariners. He is a graduate of Wheeler High School before he went on to Clemson. We bring Shane Monahan to the show now. And Shane, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Now, first of all, at Wheeler High School, now that's a pretty good program out there, isn't it, huh?
It's it's had some hard times as of late, but when we were there, the group that I came up with was very good. My brother followed behind me, and that group was very well as well. Good as well. So Coach McDonald did a good job, and I think he's retired now and moved on to other things. So.
Talk to me now about going on to Clemson and then being drafted by the major leagues. Now, first of all, I mean, you had to be pretty good. You knew you had some offers, and so you played college ball and then go on to the majors.
Sure. It's actually kind of funny. Going into my junior year, I hadn't heard from a lot of schools. My dad and I were sitting down, and at the time, Kennesaw State was an NAIA school. Mm-hmm. And basically he said, listen, this is what I can afford. I can send you to Kennesaw State, or you can join the Army. Those are your two options if we don't hear anything. And going into the junior year that summer, I had a big summer, and a lot of schools got it, Tennessee, Clemson, Georgia Tech, Georgia. And we narrowed it down to the final four schools. Mississippi State was in there, Tennessee, Clemson, and Auburn. And I chose Clemson, and it was truly a blessing. They had an opening in center field. They had an All-American center fielder graduating. He got drafted, and I was able to step in as a freshman and start playing there immediately. So it worked out for the best.
Now, on to this professional baseball experience. How did you start out with that?
Got drafted 31st overall in 1995. Took about 3 weeks to negotiate the contract and signed. Ended up going to Appleton, Wisconsin was my first stint. And the only thing I knew about Wisconsin was there was foosball and cheese. And showed up, finished the season. They only had 3 weeks left, so I finished there. And then came home for 2 days and flew out to Arizona for Instructional League. And basically the top 20 prospects in the organization get invited for 2 months, and it's just a grueling process of you're on the field at 7 a.m. till 8 p.m. and doing drills and working, and you do that for about 40 days, and you come home from the winter, and just worked my way up through the minor leagues. The next year I was in A-ball, high A-ball in Lancaster, California. The following year was in Double A in Memphis, Tennessee, and then the next year I was in the big leagues. So it only took me 2 years to get to the minor leagues.
Wow. Now, when you walked out on the field the first time in the show, Major League Baseball, did you kind of look around and say, how did I get here? I mean, what was that like?
It was so fast, to be honest with you. We had gotten a phone call that the AAA team was reporting to Vancouver. We're getting ready to go to the airport. I get a call that says, you're reporting to the Kingdom, you're getting called up. So that was about 2.5 weeks into the season. I'm in Tacoma. I'm driving down about 100 miles an hour down the highway to make it for BP. Basically, when I got to the locker room, they were already taking BP. I was in the last group, threw my uniform on, ran on the field. Lou Piniella says, hey, you're hitting in this group. I go in, I take about 20 hacks, come off, and he says, okay, you're hitting eighth tonight. And I hadn't even had time to digest what was really going on. I had been in big league camp twice beforehand, so I knew a lot of the players. But it was so fast for like the first 5 days. My wife now, at the time of my fiance, we didn't even have time to digest. It was like, make phone calls, tell people we're playing, hey, we're on TV tonight. It was so crazy. And I actually had a good game. I went 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs in my major league debut, and I rode a wave for about 3 or 4 weeks, and it was awesome. But then you kind of sit back and you go, wow, okay, I'm finally here.
Yeah. And in retrospect, it's probably a good thing that all that happened that way.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, but let's go back now. Now, so you're out of baseball finally, and you're working at Home Depot. And how did you get the idea to do this here locally?
Randy Smith. Randy Smith really approached me. His son Andrew had played for me at East Cobb. And after last summer, it just said, hey, you might want to think about the Gainesville area. We've got several good players from North Hall, several good players from Gainesville, several players from Flowery Branch that are traveling to East Cobb 3-4 nights a week for practices and then the weekends, and it's a lot of money in gas. He said, would you be interested in coming up here and starting something? And I said, yeah, I mean, logistically it would have to work out. And then my thing to him was, I told Randy, I said, well, let's get lessons started and let's see what true interest. Mm-hmm. And within 10 minutes of sending an email, I had 20 lessons booked. And I wasn't getting that in Marietta. There were so many instructors in Marietta and so many options. I just looked at my wife and said, there's something here. Let's ride this for a couple of weeks and see. And, I know I had a good foundation for a 16-year-old team. There was a 17-year-old team kind of already in place here with some school teams, and I kind of inherited those kids and the good ball players, and that was 16, 17. So I was happy with that. Just 2 teams first year, ease into it. But after football season, a bunch of 15-year-olds came out, a bunch of 14-year-olds came out, and I said, well, there's some traction here, so let's go 4 teams right out of the gate. And next year we're expanding down to the 10-year-old age group, so it's going to be 10 through 18. So it's happening quick, which I'm excited about, and we're ready for it. We've got coaching, and I've already got all the coaches in place, so it's a blessing.
Good, good. And there's a lot of talent in this area.
Yeah, there is. Absolutely, no doubt about it. I think there's a lot of good coaches up in the area. I think there are a lot of baseball players that are really raw, those raw athletic dual football, maybe basketball, baseball guys that haven't spent a lot of time in baseball. And that's kind of what we're running into at the younger age groups. But there are a lot of good baseball players.
All right, so last question. Where do you hope to go with this, and how do they get it, and people get in touch with you if they're interested?
People can go to our website at www.leaguelineup.com/Tiger-baseball. I know it's a mouthful. Or call me on my phone, 404-537-0855. Okay, or my other cell is 404-550-4723. Are the 2 cell phones you can get me on. But I would love for this program, 10 to 18, be a developmental program for the kids in the area where, they're trying out every year. Nothing's ever guaranteed in the sport, as well as you know. Yeah. But really put kids into college. We've been fortunate so far. We've got 7 kids signed to colleges since we've started this, and we look to grow it every year, whether it be D1, D2, D3, junior college. Give these athletes an opportunity to continue their education and get it paid for through sports, through baseball.
Shane, thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
Good luck with
Appreciate
this.
it.
Stay in
Thank you very
touch.
much.
All right,
Yeah,
Shane
absolutely.
Monahan. In other baseball news, a couple of just graduated local players were named Hitters of the Year in Region 8 AAA last week. Gainesville's Stephen Mason hit .456 with 7 homers and 43 RBI this season, while Johnson's Trey Wilson hit .433 with 27 RBI. Gainesville pitcher David Gonzalez, who only lost 1 game, was named Pitcher of the Year, and Red Elephant coach Jeremy Kemp tabbed as Coach of the Year in the region. Mason, Wilson, and Gonzalez all go on to play college baseball. Former East Hall player Drew Adams went from not a whole lot of wins with the Vikings to just finishing 3rd in the Junior College World Series. He made the all-tournament team by hitting .500 with 3 doubles for Gordon College, and he won the Rawlings Big Stick Award. He could always hit, and batted about .575 his senior season with East Hall, we're told. Now, he tied the Gordon School record for doubles as he led the school to 22 wins in 24 games at the end of the regular season. He now goes on to play at Lipscomb University, a D1 school in Tennessee, and we wish him continued success. Now, North Hall's Jesse Strickland, headed for North Georgia College and State University to play ball, also is playing with Team Georgia in the Heartland Baseball Classic. He's earned it, and we wish him well as well. Basketball back in the news when we return.
There are hundreds of options when choosing apparel or promotional items at J. Geyer Advertising and the Trophy Case. We're all about quality and competitive pricing. Sports items are in stock. Look for special pricing on Letterman jackets, corporate apparel, corporate gifts, and custom embroidery. All local high schools should check out the line of spiritware and trophies. We're also offering custom screen printing available for any team sport. Be on the winning side when you choose J. Geyer Advertising and the Trophy Case, locally owned and operated at 250 Dawsonville Highway, Gainesville. Call 770-718-0062 or on the web at jgeyer.com and trophycaseltd.com.
Hall County Sports is brought to you in part by Green Ford on Browns Bridge Road in Gainesville. Check out the latest deals. And remember, when you go Green Ford. By Mountain View Auto Repair, a full-service shop for all of your automotive needs. Call Danny at Mountain View Auto Repair at 770-535-7278. And by McKelvey Road United Methodist Church. Visit us on McKelvey Road in Oakwood. With 3 worship services every Sunday morning, Kids Town and adult small groups, McKelvey Road United Methodist Church is dedicated to transforming the world through the good news of Jesus Christ. We're back. I'm Garry Glenn, and this is Hall County Sports. The brand new Gainesville Heat basketball team scheduled to start its inaugural season in October. The general manager and head coach Joshua Randolph feels the need to get a team together pretty fast. So tryouts for the newest ABA team have been held this past Saturday, and they will be held again this coming Saturday, the 23rd, at Gainesville State College. That'll be the home base for the Heat. Potential players asked to show up at the GSC gym between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. to get a tryout, and we bring to the show now Coach Joshua Randolph. And Josh, Welcome, first of all, welcome
Thanks,
to the show.
Gary. Thanks very
Thanks
much.
for coming in. Now, you're a local guy.
I am.
Graduated Gainesville High School,
Gainesville High School.
and have helped some of the high school coaching programs here, right?
I have. I've helped at Johnson High School with Coach Steele, and then I've done a lot of just AAU basketball, travel basketball with a lot of the kids in the area that's now graduated and off playing football or basketball in college somewhere. So,
So why this idea, this ABA team, which is basically, I guess we need to tell the folks, is like a minor league for professional basketball, just like you have minor league baseball.
Right.
So why this idea?
well, I mean, it's always a passion for me for basketball, and we've had a team in the area before, and I just thought, let's try to bring a different ideal, different feel to Gainesville and the area, and see how we can play it, and hopefully get us on the map.
Now, I remember that team, Gainesville Knights, I think they were called. So what did you learn from them? I mean, they struggled. They really struggled. So what did you learn from that experience that's going to help you?
Well, I learned that you got to be professional. It's just not about playing basketball. You got to be professional on the front end of things, front office. You got to just try to do it right and be honest, and hopefully you'll get the support from the community to do that. But I just say that your front office has to be ran correctly in order to be successful on the court.
Okay, now you've already had one series of tryouts, and we know what a hotbed of talent Northeast Georgia is in basketball. Tremendous talent across the board. So what have you seen so far? Are you pretty encouraged by what you've seen?
Well, like you said, we went this past Saturday at Gainesville State, and I think we had about 15, 16 guys come out from all over, some from here that I think that we're pretty close of doing something with, and they've been on the scene for a while. But I was encouraged by the guys that came out this weekend. They played hard. They went hard for 4 hours with just a couple of breaks. So it was encouraging to see. It was a lot of talent that came out, and a lot to choose from.
Who are you seeing, Josh? Are you seeing obviously former high school athletes, but you maybe seeing some people that played a little college ball too in that?
We're seeing a lot of kids or a lot of guys that actually played high school, and then guys that went to college and has graduated or decided not to pursue a college career anymore. They came out and were really was really just happy to show us what they had. So
all right, and you got one more round of tryouts, right?
Got one more round of tryouts this Saturday. It's going to start about 10:30. It's going to go to about 2. I'm sorry. So just we're looking for all positions, a little size to go along with it. So hopefully everybody will come out.
Got a website, I guess, for people need any more information.
GainesvilleHeat.com.
All right, Josh Randolph, thanks for coming in, and
Thanks,
good luck,
Gary.
and stay in touch. All right, good luck with the venture.
Thanks, Gary.
In other sporting news, it was a record-setting day for Georgia Iron Dogs Tim T. Moon and C.J. Allen of Gainesville this past Sunday at the Southern Powerlifting Federation National Powerlifting and Bench Press Championships in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Both Moon and Allen set personal records in winning their respective classes and qualifying for the SPF World Championships later this year. Allen squatted 720, then 760 before finishing with a PR of 800 pounds on the squat. His bench opener, 505, tied his meet PR. He missed his last 2 attempts at 550, but he hit 550 pounds on his deadlift opener and pulled 600 on his second before passing on his third lift. He totaled 1,905 pounds, a Georgia state record. I was really nervous having 800 pounds on my back for the first time ever, CJ said as he won first in the equipped junior 275-pound multiply full power class. As for Moon, the trip did double duty for him as he and his wife Karen celebrated their 27th wedding anniversary in Gatlinburg. And Tim had additional cause for celebration when he took the SPF national title. It was a pretty quick turnaround for me, having lifted only 2 weeks ago in Atlanta, by the way, where he won at the American Powerlifting Committee Nationals on June 1st. But I felt pretty strong, T said, as he took the title in the Masters Men's 275-pound 45 to 49-year-old bench-only multiply division. He opened with a bench press of 650 pounds, which went up easily. I smoked 710 on my second attempt for the world record, he said. I missed 725 on my third, couldn't quite lock it out. I was a little winded, I guess. I'm blessed, Moon added. God has made me strong. Amen to that. The 710 was a meet personal record for Tim, who now has 2 more national titles to his credit in about as many weeks. The SPF WBPLA World Meet is September 29th and 30th in Manchester, Tennessee. And our athletes of the week for this week going to be Tim Moon and C.J. Allen, the SPF National Weightlifting Champions. Johnson, meanwhile, has named a new football coach replacing Paul Friel, who went back to his home state of Maryland. The new guy is Jason Rockmore, who comes to the job from being the defensive coordinator at North Cobb Christian. He's already on the job and met the fans in a meet and greet at the school this past Monday evening. He's scheduled to be with us on next week's show. Gainesville Times named its soccer winners of the year this past Sunday. Georgia Southern signees Aiden Rising of the Gainesville Boys and Cassidy Elrod of the Flowery Branch Girls are their players of the year. The coaches of the year, the Gainesville Girls coach Mark Wade, who led the Lady Elephants to the Final Four, and the East Hall Boys coach Chris Horton, who led the Vikings into a record-setting year and the Elite Eight. Gainesville High alumnus and former baseball player Warner Fussell, who went on to be a radio voice in college and professional baseball, died on Sunday, June 10th, of a heart attack. Fussell was also the voice of the old ABA Virginia Squires, called the games of Julius Irving and George Gervin, to name a couple. He also broadcast with the Richmond Braves and Baltimore Orioles and This Week in Baseball, even acted some. Warner Fussell was 68. At a recent Georgia Association Junior Olympic preliminary event, some of our local athletes had success in Douglasville on the track. Rising Gainesville junior Markel Woodard won the 400 and 800-meter dashes. Chestatee senior to be Brandon Thompson, who placed in the state 100 and 200 meters at Georgia Olympics just a few weeks ago, won the 200 in this meet. Now, the championship meet is this coming weekend through next Sunday in Fayetteville. 'Tis the season for summer camps, and you can contact the closest high school to you, or Gainesville Parks and Rec, or Hall County Parks and Leisure, and chances are they're going to have a camp of some sort for you in baseball, basketball, cheerleading, football, soccer, tennis, wrestling, or something. About 60 campers were at a recent Park and Rec baseball camp, while around 400 local athletes from various schools just attended the football camp put on by the NFL's High School Development Program at the East Hall Community Center. They learned about leadership, NCAA requirements, and the National Guard. Even heard from William Moore of the Atlanta Falcons. Speaking of football, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes' 6th annual FCA Passing Day / Lineman's Challenge will be held on Thursday, June the 28th at Johnson High School. The FCA says, and this is a quote, "We will be able to provide some great competition on the field, as well as have the opportunity to share Jesus Christ with 500 athletes and coaches off the field during our dinner chapel service," end quote. The guest speaker, by the way, will be the University of Georgia chaplain, Thomas Settles. And, you know, we had intended on naming our HCS Best of the Best, the athletes, teams, and coaches of the spring 2012. We're just doggone it out of time. So you need to tune in on next week's show and see that when Nick Wright and I'll give you our picks. That's our show for this week. I'm Garry Glenn. Next week right here, be with us for more Hall County Sports. Garry Glenn back here in the studio with Rob Bruce, pastor, McEver Road United Methodist Church. And Rob, even though it's summertime, still a lot of activity here at the church.
Yes, there is. You know, we've got a mission trip coming up the 1st of July where we'll be going to the Gulf Coast of Mississippi to help Katrina victims. A lot of people don't realize there's still a lot of people living in trailers and not in homes. So we're going to be down there in July building a home for a family.
All right, and a series coming up on the book of James.
That's right. We have a series that's been requested from the congregation on the book of James. It'll begin the end of June and run through July.
And one more thing I want you to talk about is the vision statement that came out of a recent planning retreat.
Right. Yeah, our vision statement is loving Christ, loving people, and help people to love Christ. And that vision is our roadmap, if you will, to be able to make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world.
Rob Bruce, we'll see you in church on Sunday.
Garry, we'll see you then.